Hey guys, this is Chesney Hawks here. You are watching My Hammers 11 with the one and only Russ.
Hi everybody, Russ from My Hammers 11. Hope you are all safe and well and recovered from Everton. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hit the bell icon to be made aware anytime I put new content on. As always, that's like our lovely channel sponsors, Untuck It. Today, another My Hammers 11. Luke comes highly regarded. Not one, but two people have said you should get Luke on. No pressure, Mr. Smith. How are we?
I'm not too bad, mate. How are you?
I'm all right. Are you recovered?
Yeah.
Have you recovered?
My head hasn't. Thankfully, the beer's got me through it, but...
Right. Let me just... Right, were you down the Firkin yesterday?
I was in Hornchurch, I was.
Yes, I mean, the Firkin. You know, it's Firkin, isn't it?
Yeah,
is that what it's called?
Well, it was it. Yeah.
I thought that was. I saw it on your Instagram. I thought, I know, I walk past there with a dog every day, so it's like, yeah. It's no wonder your head's hurt. But as long as you were keeping to the rule of six outside, and
it's just me and my mate. We had football, like Sunday league, got over there at 3, sun come down, and then got home and just cried myself to sleep.
Did you win? Did you win Sunday league?
No, we lost 5-2. It weren't a good day. Saved the penalty, but
that's right.
Silver lining in that.
And it rains, it pours in the Smith household. Yeah. Oh my good God! Apart from obviously Sunday, how have you been recently in this crazy world we live in? You've been keeping well?
Yeah, I've not been too bad. It's tough. Currently living with my girlfriend, so it's not like I'm missing my girlfriend. So that's all right.
That's nice. That's you got fucking hell. You know, I'm trying to help you here, man. You know.
Yeah. So then that's about. So yeah, it's not been too bad. Surviving, getting along.
Yeah.
You just can't wait until back to normality, back to home away days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't wait.
I know. We're getting there slowly but surely. But at least you know you can play Sunday league again and stuff like that. That's cool, isn't it?
Season finished Sunday as well. So it's like was back for a month and then we've got another 2 months off. So it's like, well, what's the point? Just leave it for a month.
Just some people are just desperate to go out. It's like golfers. It's like, God, I know so many golfers and they're just out every day playing golf. I'm like, how can you afford to keep doing this? Well, I haven't got a job. And it's like, I'm furlough. Oh, fair enough, man. But yeah, I know what you mean. And you know, hopefully, you know, Boris, we're calling this on Monday and Boris has come out and said, yeah, we're still doing the thing for the 17th of May. So we could have some fans in for the last game of the season.
Hopefully. I was at the United game.
Oh, cool.
The one in December. Like, me and my girlfriend was fortunate to go. So that was good. But obviously now they're talking about obviously 10,000 fans. We only had, I think it was 1,500 we had for that game.
Yeah.
That was weird. Yeah. It was loud. Well,
it was loud. Yeah. Because like where I was, because like for the best part of a year, I've been sat in this box, like playing to no one, playing music for no one, and like I heard some feedback. You know, it was the other side of the stadium, the other side, but you could still hear them. It was like fucking hell, because obviously the place was so quiet anyway. So any noise is better than no noise, and I think 10,000 is going to be an absolute racket. And hopefully, if everything sorts itself out the way they say it to, next season should all be back to normal. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Would be. Well, obviously, I work for I do a bit of for Mark Noble, his football academy.
Yeah.
So I've spoke to Noble a few times, and Fabianski, mate, come over. They was talking about how much he really missing the supporters, and like that United game, how much of a big boost it was just to see a few thousand. He was saying he got emotional.
It was really emotional.
He got emotional just at the thought of seeing people again. And he's saying he can't wait for that first game next season, a full capacity to see the new West Ham we're seeing.
True. I mean, it was emotional hearing bubbles being sung back to me rather than the fake crowd noise I've been putting on for it. That was weird. And you're right. I think actually, in terms of, ironically, like now we could really do with the fans being in the stadium because the Everton game. Yeah, the Arsenal game. You know, we've got a lot of injuries. we could do with the extra 10-15%. Do you know what I mean? The extra 10% make a
100%.
massive difference. And we know, it doesn't matter how, if you're, a guy, a Declan Rice or a Ben Johnson or a Mark Noble or Fabianski, it's that extra 15% will make a massive difference. And we'll see. But anyway, what happened? It doesn't matter whatever happens, Luke. We've had a hell of a season, haven't we? And we haven't had to worry about us going down.
Yeah,
which has been nice.
There was a big discussion in our group chat saying about we all thought 15th relegation, nothing special this year. That's what we was expecting, but to come this close, it will sting, it will hurt. But then when you take a step back, you think of what an incredible season it's been. Any sort of Europe next year is going to be one hell of a step up, which is what we've moved ground to do.
Exactly, and to be honest, it's well deserved. I mean, the team have taken full advantage. It has been a weird season. We know that there's weird results happening every week. But we took full advantage of that. And for me, as you said, any European football, doesn't matter if it's the Conference or the Champions League, will be amazing for this club. Just because it, personally, I know it's like this could be maybe a once in a lifetime opportunity to get into the Champions League. But realistically, we'd have to qualify for the group stages, and we're not good at those. Astra Gugu, these types of, FC Berkakara, all these exactly. So so you know what I mean. It's like Steaua Bucharest in the first couple of rounds of 2002 as well. It doesn't do us very well. So I'm actually in favour of the conference, because I've said this before, because it'd be amazing to see your team. It'd be amazing. My life would be complete if I could just play the champions at London Stadium. It would be incredible. But I'd love us to get to, in the conference, you'll be playing teams in Liechtenstein and, all these random places. Loads of people still talk about Metz in 1999, for the Intertoto Cup. And Metz wasn't like, a beautiful place, but everyone just took it over. And I want us to I'd love us to draw some, Liechtenstein farming village where you have to get like 2 buses and a train, and there's like 5,000 West Ham fans just turn up.
Get a local lift off the farmer to get to
exactly,
the ground.
And some trailers, and literally it'll be like, or we pick some, random, and then there'll be stories to be talking about for the next 30-40 years. That's sort of one trip, and if you weren't there, you weren't there. But we'll see what happens, man. But it's been great.
With
and
the Europa League as well, with PSG could be dropping out at the moment. Juventus as well. It's not like it's the Europa League. It's not like some dodgy competition now. It's still a prestigious thing to be involved in.
Totally right. Even the conference has potentially got. I think it's got Roma, Villarreal potentially in it as well.
The finals out in that Albania's national stadium, which looked a hell of a stadium as well.
Wouldn't that be brilliant? Do you know what I mean? Wouldn't it be brilliant? It's just
like, out there in Albania mid-May. It'd be brilliant.
It'd be lovely. Lovely time of the year to go to Albania, in the middle of the national stadium. But that's what I mean. It's like stuff like that. That's what West Ham fans are good at. Those random trips, and people missing an away day, and hopefully, we might even get drawn against our Portuguese teams. We can all go there. We don't have to take a 10-day
summer holiday midweek. Just nip over to Porto. Just to
But you wouldn't have to worry about because they're on the green list, aren't they? So you can get
all these countries,
Yeah, or we could go to the Falklands wouldn't be in there. That's one on the green list. There's some really random ones on the green list. No one decent, but on Portugal, or Australia, New Zealand. But then you have to; they won't let you in, so you're buggered anyway. So
hopefully by June, July, August time, there'll be a few more. And September, hopefully for the group stage.
I love it. You're already thinking group stages. So you've already qualified.
I do, in my head, obviously, the last Sunday don't help with obviously Everton.
No.
The game in hand for what's behind us, but I still believe I can't see Everton winning 3 from 3, and I still think we will win 3 from 3.
I think we will, and I still think it's not over. Honestly, I just don't think it's over because
we need United to do us a huge favour both tomorrow and Thursday.
Yeah.
As long as Liverpool don't win against them, we're in the hunt. Stay above Liverpool into 5th, and just keep nipping at them. Because I think Leicester will crumble. I think they will crumble like they did last year.
Tough games they've got. Last 3 games, you wouldn't want to pick them. You wouldn't want to having to play Man United, Chelsea, and Tottenham. Fucking hell,
then Brighton who are safe, West Brom who are down, Southampton who are just going to play for mid-table finish.
Yeah. The only thing about that West Brom game potentially was
Allardyce in
not
it.
not just that, but Allardyce and 8,000, 9,000 in the Hawthorns, because I think they've moved it all back, haven't they? So they've all got, so everyone's got one game. They'll be going all out to win that one, just because.
Just the one. To be fair, but with Brighton, I'd rather play West Brom with fans than Brighton with fans. I think Brighton will take that with a big. Brighton this year have played some good stuff under Graham Potter, and I think the Brighton fans do appreciate that and give them one hell of a.
And they put on a big production as well, don't they? So even 10,000, even they'll have a go with that, wouldn't they? So
West Brom have gone down. Obviously, many people want to go football again, but I don't think there'll be 10,000 people chomping at the bit to go see their relegated team go down
against West Ham as well.
Against West Ham.
It's not like, if it was Arsenal or Man United, one of the
Villa Wolves, a local derby.
Yeah. Well, we'll grasp onto that hope. We'll grasp onto that hope. It's the hope that kills us, really, isn't it? But that's what being a West Ham fan's all about.
It's good to see us challenging up there rather than looking behind us. And
it is. It's crazy.
The main part to take from this year.
Totally. I mean, we look at it now, and there's three. We're battling for. In essence, we're still battling for a Champions League spot with us, Leicester, Liverpool. It's mental. In August, when you said, if someone said to you in August, right, we're going to be fifth and we'd be gutted because we've just lost to Everton 1-0, and it means we wouldn't have closed the gap on a Champions League spot. Fuck off, What are you
especially after Newcastle game, not a single second goal.
Exactly. Although we didn't have any attempts on goal yesterday, did we?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, we had the Soufal and then the Bowen miss.
And Ben Rama.
And Ben Rama, just on repeat in my head. You just see it.
Dear. I've always said it. We are a strike away from being a very dangerous team.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? We've hit the post 21 times this season, more than anyone by a long way. Which is great for West Ham clips because that's what he does. But it's annoying if you think if we converted half of those chances or a third of those chances, where we would have been.
How many added points? Antonio, if you had that Antonio for an extra 4 or 5 games this year, where would we be?
Yeah. But Antonio in his pomp, when he's got the bit between his teeth, do you know what I mean? When he's like Wolves and Burnley, when he was like proper.
If Antonio's fit for Newcastle, I think that's what we let that players run in behind against Newcastle because they'll happily just let you 2 banks of 4 try to break them down, which we struggled with.
Yeah, we did. It's like yesterday we did struggle. They Ancelotti clearly went
free kicks from 30 yards out. They're sitting on their own 6-yard box trying to defend.
Exactly.
Could know full well if Souček gets a header on it. It's going on target.
Totally right. And I mean, Jeremina, it's like, I just found him was awesome yesterday. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
I'm fair, I didn't really rate him as a defender, but he was brilliant yesterday. I thought he was brilliant. He just muscled. He's probably the only one I can think of who could probably muscle Antonio. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So, and we just didn't have that sort of annoying, but it was annoying, but hey, Christ, we've had worse, Luke, haven't we? We've had worse.
We've had a lot worse.
Perspective Pete comes out and says, just put things in perspective. Anyway, speaking of worse, and 13 minutes in, first question, why West Ham, Luke? Why is it your team, man?
So mainly because my late granddad and my late dad, ever since I was young age, I used to see my granddad every 2 weeks, and that was just every 2 weeks is a home game.
Yeah.
So every 2 weeks come down to Haroldwood, stay there from the Friday, then Saturday get up early morning, get the 8:30 train, get to Upton Park. Ken's Cafe, sitting there, granddad read the paper, and then make the way down to see my dad in the I think it's the Britannia. My dad used to drink him. We'd travel all the way there from Green Street, get there for about 12:1, watch the early kickoff, and then come back. And that was just a ritual up until 10, 11, when I really took a big interest in football. Before then, you go to games, you're not solely interested. You're picking at your feet. Obviously you're watching the game, but the mind isn't solely pulsated on it. Whereas the age of 10, I think the season we went down was the first year of really going properly and understanding everything.
Yeah.
I think like I said, one of the games I stand out was we played Stoke at home in I think at the time was the Carling Cup, We was 1-0 down. Kenwin Jones scored, and then it's about Kenwin Jones. I think like 8th minute comes to like 94th minute. I think we beat Oxford the round before it. The Scott Parker winner. And then my dad's nudging me, go, let's go now. I was like, no, we'll stay here. So he goes to the toilet. So when I come back, meet me at the stairs, we'll go. And then as he goes to get a corner, whips in, Scott Parker's equalised. Everyone's got, I'm on the chairs, I jump and bundled with some old people behind me. My dad then comes run up the stairs, joins in the bundle. Yeah, that's the first memories I had just of it being such a family thing I'd look forward to every 2 weeks.
I know what you mean, man. And it's so true. It's so true about that. It is, and it's not, as you said, it isn't necessarily about the football. I know because win or lose, still in the booze, that type of thing. And it really is with West Ham, and which is why this whole season's been a bit weird, because you sort of like thinking, you're always waiting for that West Ham speed bump, and like that Newcastle game away. You go, oh, that's it, back to normal. Whew, I was getting a bit worried there. He's going to turn into a good team, but you know what I mean. And but it's about the family, as you said, with your late dad, your late granddad, and it was about. I'm exactly the same story with my granddad. Honestly, he was the man who took me to all the football games, and it's like it's crazy. And thinking about it, it's like, I don't know how he got there in one piece, because his eyesight was going and he'd drive. And it's like, I don't know how he got there, but we did get there.
You just find a way to get there, didn't you? No matter
it's
what.
Like homing device, isn't it?
Trains weren't working. It could be freezing cold. The car's broken down halfway there. You'd always find a way there.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where I think people forget about that when they talk about the voting. Obviously, we're doing it today, and today's obviously the 5 years today. There was the last game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it's just thinking about it. It's weird. You sort of think about all those times, and it's not this. As you said, I don't remember. I remember certain games, but I remember more memories. And as you said, we wasn't a Ken's Caff type of. We were more Erkans, the fish and chip shop. That was our thing. We was Erkans. So we'd always go there, and always get the same table.
So many people have so many different things you could do on the match day around there. Whereas I think that's the one thing you really miss at the new stadium. It's the same thing near enough most weeks, because there's just not as much things about.
I think it's just modern football in general. These big stadiums tend to be outside of a town centre.
You're out of the way, and then
exactly
it's just little kiosks and things pop up nearby.
It's true. It's like that's why I preferred when we went to Wembley. Not Wembley, when we went to Cardiff for 3 years in a row. I loved it there because it was quite unusual, because you had this massive, international big stadium bang in the middle of Cardiff city centre. So you had like all these pubs and clubs and restaurants to go to beforehand. And that's really unusual. As you said, now all these just big complexes in the middle of industrial estates, really.
Yeah.
Wembley, I find Wembley boring on the outside. There's nothing there.
I'm currently at my university is Wembley.
Yeah,
I did a football management degree, and walking up to there every day, it's a great sight. But as a nightlife or anything, there's nothing about. There's no really good restaurants, no pubs. The closest pub, there's a Wetherspoons in Wembley Central, which is like about a 25-minute walk from the actual stadium.
That's a dump, that one, isn't it? I know exactly.
And it's not it's a very, very rough area. It is something you would not want to walk to.
No.
But that's the closest thing to anything.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, though. It is about the experience, and it was. And, the flip side is as you said, when you get like at Upton Park, you'd have like, if the district line was down, or, you walked to Upton Park, and then everyone would turn around and walk back to Barking along that line. It's a massive walk, wasn't it?
Walk to East End, walk to Plaistow. You'd always walk somewhere to find a way home or the way to there.
Yeah, or a bus. Let's get the bus to Stratford or whatever. Oh.
Yeah, 104.
That's the one thing about here.
367.
Yeah. If it's good enough for Bobby Moore, it's good enough for us. That's how he used to get to the game.
Exactly.
So there we go. But nowadays it's like easy. I mean, I think the first half a dozen games, I think when we went to the new stadium, I think I went a different way home, because there was one, it might have been the district line was down, so I can go to Hornchurch, so I get the overground at Gideon Park. Oh, that's down. Okay, so I'll get to Upminster. There's like 5 or 6 different ways. It was all right for us.
With all the stop go signs as well, you have to try and find the back way to avoid them. I think everyone's got it's the way down the carpenters now. I think everyone's caught onto it. So now that is just chock a block going over when you go over the Jubilee line, the big bridge.
Yeah.
And that's just a massive queue now to get through.
I just put in Mill Lane it.
Yeah.
Put in Mill Lane.
Fair, at the end of the game,
Stratford.
pop into carpenters, have one or two, let the queue go down.
Yeah.
And then on your way.
We'll be back there soon. Luke.
Exactly. Won't be long.
Great.
Won't be long.
I can't wait. I can't wait till the boats are open and supporters clubs and all that stuff, because I think that's what people have missed more than. And it's great. It's great that we can get 10,000 in for the last game of the season as well, because we can give something back to the players as well. Rather than doing it socially on Twitter or whatever. Yeah. A good clap. Who's your hammer of the year? You've got to be careful, because you work for marketing.
It's been a tough one, I think.
Yeah.
But I've been to and fro from about 3 or 4. I think there's been 3 or 4 or 5 consistent players for that season.
Yep.
Being Ogbonna, Souček, Soufal, Declan Rice before the injury, and Cresswell and Fabianski. That's like half the team.
Half the team,
consistent basis. And you can throw in Antonio for how good he's been this year.
Yep.
So it's a lot different to majority of the last couple of years, just being one person just stands out throughout. But I just think it's a tough one, because there's so many players we've just picked up injuries. And I think the only consistent player who hasn't picked up an injury has been Souček and Soufal.
Yeah.
So I think they've got the front runners, but my God, we've missed Ogbonna, we've missed Cresswell and Rice when they're not in the squad, and you realise how valuable they are.
Totally. And I think what's nice is you said you list off 6 players without really thinking.
That's the
difference. That's the difference for this year. It's not all about Dimitri Payet. It's not all about Declan Rice. It's a team, and we've had injuries throughout. Basically, Antonio will have a good 2 games and he'll be out for 3 games, and fullbacks of Cresswell, and we've had about 20. I don't know how many different centre back partnerships we've had this season. We've coped, but it's that midfield bit that we haven't coped. As soon as Dec was injured, that was our season sort of bit curtailed a little bit. For me, my hammer of the year is Soufal, because the reason is because he's a 7 out of 10 every game. He's never a 10. He's never a 5. He's always a 7, and that's why I want him to win. He won't win because he's always a 7 out of 10. He's not a Souček who might be a star man in one game and a bit quieter than star man. But I like, because I just think, and I think it's great. My idea would be Souček to win, although I want Soufal to win. Souček to win, Soufal to be hammer of the year runner up, and get old what's his face from the ambassadors, the Czech ambassador, to present it, because his head would probably explode. He'd be running laps around London Stadium. But that's what I'd love to happen.
The thing is with Soufal as well. When I was thinking about this all-time 11 being who I've seen as a player. When was the last time we've had a very, very good right back? It's been such an area of consistent struggle, especially in my lifetime.
Yeah,
I think probably the last good with that Carl Jenkinson on loan for that one season to Allardyce's last year was brilliant. And then we got him back on loan, and then completely was not the same player.
No. It's always, as I said, we had Tompkins playing there for a while, didn't he?
Yeah, Antonio done a job at some point.
Yeah,
just not had that.
I think, for me, the right back, I put a little bit before your time, so I put Sebastian Schemmel in my 11.
But before that, you can also put Replica. You can put
Tim Breaker. I had
Tim Breaker. Yeah, you can put so many right backs in. Whereas now I was tossing a coin between Julian Faubert and Soufal.
Yeah,
Faubert was very good right back. He was a very consistent performer, but nothing which will like.
No, you're right. You're totally right. It's similar to
this is what we've had of late. We've not had real quality. We've just had hard-working players. And if we've always said, if you work hard, 100% effort for the shirt, and that's what gets you loved and adored.
You're totally right. And I think that's why I love the Czech boys. I just think they've come in. Not only do they really give it each game, but they just seem to have integrated themselves really nicely with West Ham. They talk quite well on Twitter and Instagram, and You know, the fact that Soufal gets the bus and stuff like that. And, you know, although I have seen him drive, he was driving behind me, a very nice car though. It's a very nice, like, I think it was an X6, one of those big BMW ones.
Yeah.
So I know he does have a nice car, but he gets the bus occasionally, you know, saving on fuel and whatnot. But yeah, so they just are so hardworking, and it's why people are falling in love with them.
Yeah.
Yesterday, he was the last one off the pitch. Honestly, everyone had gone, and literally, I think Calvert Lewis was still doing his interviews and stuff, and he was still on the pitch. Absolutely, no one picked up on it. It was
City
amazing.
away as well, wasn't it? He was on his knees. He puts everything on the line. I think as well, he understands the ethos of West Ham. I know he's had one game with supporters, but he's really bought into what it means.
Did he play? Did he play that Man United game?
Yeah. Because I remember the announcer saying, for the first time,
probably, you're probably right.
Please give a welcome to Radamir Soufal side Ben Rama.
Yes,
obviously Ben
you
Rama
are right,
didn't start.
Yeah, Martin did it. Yeah, you're bang on, man. Yeah. But it's weird, isn't it? I just think, and look at someone like Soufal as well. You know, the guy, but we bought him. He turned up on Friday. We bought him on the third. Whether he was playing on the Saturday or Sunday against Leicester.
Yeah, against Leicester.
He hadn't trained really, but he looked like he'd been there all his life. And I
played right wing back when he's predominantly your right back as well. Yeah. That's a completely different system.
And we'd all scoff.
Yeah.
Probably
James Maddison, Vardy, probably the most creative English players at that. Obviously, at that season, they were on fire. That gave them scraps. They completely struggled.
I think it shot on target that one because they scored one, got rolled off of VAR, didn't it? But he was just like he'd been there all season, and also like he cost like, I don't know, 4 or 5 million, something like that, and we all scoffed, didn't we? Like 5 million. Well, what the hell can you get for 5?
Who is this player? Who is it?
Never heard of him.
But
you get
absolutely
5 times your money now for him.
Oh, massively. But like you said, he's a 7 out of 10 player.
Yeah.
He's a very consistent 7 out of 10.
And that's what you want. You want. Yeah, you need your Antonio's getting hat tricks and braces, but the team is built on those 7. If the team are always performing at a 7 out of 10 rate, then it's the 1 or 2 stars will just give you that extra gloss. And I think that's why consistently we played well this season. Yeah, we had a few dips, but Christ, not as many dips as previous seasons.
Yeah,
that's for sure, man. That's for sure. Well, let's talk about your 11 because we already hinted to right backs and stuff. So anyway, so basically the only rule, as you said, is you have to be alive to see them play. You can pick whoever you want. Does that have to be the best? Be your favourite? It's up to you, man. But it's always a good fun, and it's agonising. I know it's agonising decisions to make. I can know there's lots of. Particularly, I'm no disrespect to you, but some of the more experienced fans, as I call them, they've been fans since the '60s. So they've had like Moro, they've had the Devs, they've had Bonds and Brookins. Unfortunately, we didn't have that sort of. We did all right, but we haven't had them.
There's some good players in there. Some good players. I've had to miss some out on the basis of I've had to see him play. I've had to miss out the Canio. The fact of I've never been able to see the Canio play. I know it's my lifetime, but it's a hard one.
Oh, that's tough on you. I'll give you that.
It's a tough one. I'll take it. I could whack in the Canio. I could whack in Canute, and be a lot easier for me. But I thought, give myself the challenge of who I've seen in the flesh.
Respect, Luke. Respect. Right. Okay. Start off in goal. Who's in goal?
So for in goal, I think it was another toss up between Fabianski and Robert Green. But just for growing. As I was growing up, because I'm a goalkeeper myself.
Sure, yeah.
I idolised Robert Green to high heavens. I thought he was just superb. And when he left after the playoff final, I remember finding out crying that he'd come to QPR, and then abusing Rob Green when he's gone QPR, and we played him at Loftus Road. But yeah, Rob Green, just like that 06-07 season, the United game, the Arsenal game, and many games during the season, single-handedly won us the points we needed to stay up.
Definitely.
And then how many years? My first prop season, 07-08 is my first season ticket season. How many years of that?
And I like him as well because he doesn't seem to take himself too seriously as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a very, very modest I'm obviously never spoke with him. He might be an absolute knob, for all I know, as a person. But as he comes across, now he does a lot of Sky Sports stuff.
He does, yeah.
So
Yeah.
he does come across, like you said, a nice, modest bloke. He understands.
We've had quite a few. We've done well for goalkeepers on the channel. We've had about I've lost count. We've done, we've had who we had. Let's go way back. We had Tom McAllister. We've had Bobby Ferguson. We've had Shaka. We've had Rob Green. Maybe soon. We've had Jimmy Walker, Ian Foyer,
Phil Parks. You must have Ludo.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who I've interviewed. So I've on the channel. We've had about 6 or 7. David James we've had as well, and when we talk about when they all talk about Robert Green, Jimmy Walker particularly talks about him, and says, because obviously until recently he was goalkeeper coach at Ipswich, and he said, any new kids, goalkeepers, I make them watch tapes of Robert Green, because they said, we had Roy Carroll as well, is it? Because he was the hardest training goalkeeper he'd ever seen in his life, and that Arsenal game you spoke about on the Friday, him and I think Roy Carroll, they'd gone out, done a training session. They'd gone back, have some lunch. They got changed. They went off down to Epping to have a couple of drinks at the 195 or whatever. And Rob Green was still doing one-on-ones with Ludo And that weekend, obviously, he played Arsenal. He had about a dozen one-on-ones which he'd win.
So many, just for that.
Yeah,
hard work
incredible
in the
person.
training. But yeah, that's watching him. Obviously, his penalty record as well for us, especially that 07, 08, 08, 09 season was phenomenal. I remember, I think the one that stands out massively is the West Ham Spurs game when the foe down at the Trevor Booking end. I think Green was at fault for you could say he was at fault for the goal, and then redeemed in the way. Obviously, he's made the save, the ball's been cleared, and he's celebrating it, giving it like he just scored a goal, especially in front of the Spurs fans. Brilliant.
Yeah, and I love the way you always said.
One as well. The season went down when we beat Spurs, didn't we? It was the year after the Robert Green's horrific howler in the World Cup.
Yeah,
and the Spurs fans are just absolutely abusing him. We won 1-0, and he's turned around, giving it to them as well. Just an all-round hero.
Yeah, and also when he had England number 6 stitching his gloves as well.
Yeah,
I love all that. I love all that. That's Charlie goalkeepers, isn't it? It's like they have one mistake, and that's all they get known for.
That's what you remember now.
Exactly. Antonio misses a goal, like Bowen yesterday or whatever. Next week it'll be forgotten.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
They always get that chance to redeem for themselves. Whereas in goal, it's a very lonely place when you make a mistake.
Yeah.
The centre half can make a mistake. The keeper who's going to help the centre half out. Midfielder makes a mistake, vice versa. Centre forward misses a goal. That's right. Get them bury the next one.
Yeah.
But the goalkeeper there might not be a next one.
No, good point. Okay, Rob Green's in. Robbie is in. The wonky finger is in. Right, who? I guess going to defence. Who's your first defender?
So from at right back, as we were saying earlier on, not just the reason why, because we've not had good right backs. I think even if we had good right backs, Soufal would be a very high contender.
Yeah,
he'd be Soufal for the fact of off the top of your head. Within the last 10 years or so, he's been the most consistent right back we've
definitely. Totally agree, man.
Yeah, definitely Vladimir Soufal.
Yeah, we've always spoken about him loads, but you're right. No, I totally agree. You've already done your piece on but I totally agree. And when you mentioned like people like Faubert, and we had Guy Demel for a bit,
Lucas
Neal,
well.
yeah, a little bit, yeah. I mean, these guys. Lucas Neal was a great captain. But I think Soufal as a right back, I think is. I mean, the other day that Burnley game, I think he provided half of all the crosses that we put in, or something ridiculous like that.
For the first one, Antonio's goal was on an absolute plate because Pope was coming, but then with the amount of loop he's got on it, and then for it to drop directly onto his head, keeper's in no man's land. Brilliant. But like you said, there was so many times in that game he's whipped in. I think it was the one that might have been one when Antonio's kicked on his right, then hit his left and come backwards.
Yeah.
Soufal's just whipped it in. But there's so many times this year he's done balls up the top of my head, like the Man City at home for Antonio's overhead kick.
Yep, great shot.
Yeah, the one for Lingard as well for Leicester when he's pulled it back to the edge of the box. He's not putting crosses in the box for the sake of getting balls in the box.
No.
He's picking out players every time.
Yeah, And he's a right back, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, he did like, I don't know, it was like double figures in crosses or something like that for that Burnley game. He was playing right back. It was just, he had so much space exploiting it. And I mean, I love the fact, I just love it that after every away game, he takes a picture with Thomas Souček.
Yeah.
Like it's a competition, like he's won a competition. I always think it.
Yeah,
And like the other day we had
he's
Vidra
done
as
his
well.
first ever away day with your mates. It's just like every stadium he goes to. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
I love it though. It's just so it's
because
you know,
both him and Souček are so blessed. Like
Yeah.
you said just now, they're so blessed to where they are at the moment.
Yeah.
Obviously, football out in, no disrespect to football in Poland, it's nothing on the scale of what football is here.
Yeah.
So
But I
coming
mean,
into that,
I think for me with him, he just, I mean, both of them, it just seems, you know, yeah. I mean, they were smashing it in, you know, for Slavia Prague, and you know they were doing well, and you know they were competing for the Champions Leagues and stuff like that. But you know, it's a different kettle of fish here. But they still have that sort of want to win mentality. You know, they're used to being in the top two. It's probably them and Sparta Prague are probably the two. You know, it's like Man City and Man United.
yeah.
So they're used to it. So that they want to bring that sort of that winning mentality over. But they just, I just think it's great. And like it was funny the other day with Vidra as well, because those like the three Czech boys. And it's just brilliant. I think it's hilarious. But we'd be the same, wouldn't we? If you was playing for West Ham, you'd take your picture every possible
I'd
where you were. Do you know what I mean?
Everywhere.
It's totally, man. Right. Okay. We'll put Vlad in. Vlad's in. Who's next?
So, and then next one would be Winston Reid.
Yeah,
and that was one of the easiest choices of at the back. Just I think the man speaks for himself. Being since obviously 2010, his first game when West Brom's bagged an own goal, and then after this very good World Cup, and everyone just thought, it's just another Tal Ben Haim we've got just down the pecking order. And then that championship season
made him.
That pairing of him and Tompkins was phenomenal. How good he was, and it kills me the way his career's going now. That injuries killed him. Not to see one final game, just even a test. He deserves a testimonial, because I know I can't see it happening, but the boy definitely deserves one. Definitely deserves one.
And it's weird, isn't it? It's weird how you think, particularly when he was out there, he was over in Sporting Kansas and stuff, and then we get like, no disrespect to Craig Dawson at the time, Craig Dawson coming in, you're thinking, really? We've got Winston Reid out there.
Yeah, and then sending Reid out on loan to Brentford, you're like, really? Is Dawson better than Winston Reid? Which is, it's worked. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it would be overly different to Winston Reid.
Well, you think particularly after we had, quite a few, looking back, hindsight's a great thing, obviously, in football. But going back, we obviously had quite a few, people getting sent off, and we had, a few injuries in centre back. We were struggling a little bit at centre back, and you're thinking, there's a guy who's playing down the road here, he knows West Ham, and he was playing well for Brentford. He hasn't a bit of a sniff since. He had like a couple of man of matches, didn't he? And I was speaking to a Brentford guy the other day, and he hasn't had much of a sniff since, because who's the big lad? The guy who used to play for Leeds.
Pontus Johan. Is it
Pontus? Yeah. Pontus, he's come back in. He was like cover for him, and now he's back, and so he's not getting overlooking, which is a shame. He's our bargaining chip, isn't it, for Ivor Toney? But ain't gonna work now. So Winnie Reid. But he'll always have. He'll always have that goal. He'll always be in the fabric of West Ham because of that last
about
goal.
5 years ago, roughly about this time. Thinking about it.
Well, we kicked off. Probably about right. Because we kicked. The kickoff was delayed, wasn't it? Because
so it's rough, give or take 10 minutes or so. It's
how ironic.
This time, isn't it?
That's a serendipitous moment, Luke. Yeah, because obviously, because everything got delayed, didn't it? So we had to put,
I think it was 8:15, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
I think it was 8:15. So we got about 9:15, second half kickoff, half hour in. About 10, 15 minutes time.
Yeah. It was about right. That was a weird day. That whole day was just so weird. I remember it so vividly. Someone was talking to me about it the other day, and I was on jury service that day, and my case had got adjourned to the afternoon. So I drove up, parked the car like where I used to always park. This was about 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't think I even told my wife I was going. So anyway, I got fuck it, it's last game of the season. And I had my pass, so I got into the stadium. Obviously, there was no security. Like, you could just walk in those days, you know, not now, but you could just then. And I spent about 3-4 hours on me. There was no one there. It was like dead. I've never seen it so quiet. And there was about 3 or 4 hours on my own, just walking around, like sat where I used to sit with my granddad in a couple of different seats. So our first game was in the East Stand. Then we had a season ticket for many years in the Centenary upper front row. You know, had a wee in the changing rooms, you know, just literally on my own. No one there. It's brilliant, amazing. Took some great pictures. And then I did my my jury service, came back a few hours later, and the place was just like manic. There was just heat. Yeah. It was ridiculous. And obviously, you know, the whole, you know, we had Billy Bonds turned around and went home because of the traffic and all the fan trouble. Julian didn't want to go in a taxi, so we had all these taxis outside, and it was just mental. And because of obviously the game had to be obviously moved to 8:15 or 8. I think it was 8:30. It might be.
It might have even been 8:30.
And because of that, we had to move the fireworks to the beginning. So it was like the end of the thing was the fireworks, but it was done at the beginning because we couldn't go past 10:30 because the council wouldn't let. Oh, it was just mental. Wouldn't change it for the world. It was so West Ham. How it's all like spitting sawdust. That day. Even like we had Jeff from the Cotley Rejects on a while ago, and we was talking about, you know, obviously him playing. He's like, yeah, honestly, the day before we did that, we couldn't have the noise, so we was like doing it without our amps, and it was really weird. And it started pissing it down that day when it was really rainy, and we thought we was gonna get electrocuted on the stage. So you can just imagine the whole place, boom, you know, like proper like final score, Dave Bautista already doing it. You know what I mean? Oh, I love it. Right. Anyway, I love the way we just talk about it. Winston Reid, who's next?
So then next one, with centre halves as well. We've had some very good centre halves over the last years, but I'd have Ginger Pele, James Collins, for one unique reason, so I was on my way to Wigan away when we under Moyes when we got knocked out of the cup 2-0.
Yep.
Started drinking on the coach with me and my West Ham mates about half-5 doing Jaeger shots, and by halfway to Wigan we was all in a very bad way. It was all chanting, all chanting on the coach, and I was obviously at the time it was all getting rumoured about Collins is not getting a renewal. So I was very drunkenly made up a song for James Collins, which my mates from West Ham will verify about the sign him up Ginger Pele song. Yep. Very drunk, made it up. Everyone, my mates, we all recorded it. The whole coach is singing it, and then it just didn't catch on. It was like okay, and then turn Leicester away. I get to the concourse, then everyone's singing it.
Oh,
I was like, hey, I made this song. Everyone's coming over to me. This is your song. And then literally no one believed it. And then now people go, "Oh, we owe you a pint now." They all said it wouldn't catch on. I never got the pint. We all forgot about it. Yeah, so now it's on camera. Now they all owe me. Next game, I'll be claiming that pint.
When the bar's open, just stand by the bar.
I'll be claiming them.
At the next West Ham Way event or whatever, just like wave with a big arrow pointing at you or a sandwich board. I'm the man. Because that's the thing. Let's think about chance. You know, I don't know. As you said, people must like come up with all. It says you came up with a chant because something just happened.
I was so bad. I don't remember how the words come together.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I remember once. Where was we? I think I was at Liverpool away, and I was stood next to some. We don't sit down do away games. I was sat next to someone who's absolutely off their rocker. He was, and he started making his own chants, and it was like, you know, we've got Trevor Sinclair, you're stuck on the welfare. You know, we've got Joey Cole, you're stuck on the dole. And then he went, we've got Frank Lampard, and he was like. He went quiet for about 5 minutes, and I was like, "There we go, you fucked it right up." And I've got a new Mercedes. That was his chant. Brilliant. Well done, mate. Thanks. I've got a new Mercedes. Oh yeah, but it must be, it must be consortiums, groups who come up with these chants sometimes because they just happen, don't they? But
Like
As we know,
something like
you started it.
the Pipe song, and
Yeah.
that come about, the Palace Away. That just come
Yeah.
out just out of nowhere,
Yeah,
and
it's just weird, isn't it?
you're stuck.
There must be like a WhatsApp group I'm not on or
Yeah,
something like that for
there's
this.
got,
Do you know what I mean?
just for the chance.
Just
After making up this one, I can assure you, I don't think there is a WhatsApp
oh.
group chat. If there is, I'm not being invited yet, and I need that invite.
Luke's just been muted. Yeah. Been in for another year. It's all right. God, if he doesn't come another fucking Collins chant. But yeah. But Ginger Pele is a legend, isn't he? He's a modern day legend, isn't he?
There's another one who obviously 10 years at the club spread across two terms, which arguably should have deserved a testimonial. But it just so I think the testimonials wouldn't be the same as it would be at the bowling. Knowing full well at the bowling you'd sell out a 35,000 for testimonial, whereas now we don't. Not as many fans want to go to Stratford, so it's hard to get that guaranteed 50+ thousand. If you do a testimonial and get 10 or 15,000 turn up, it's a disrespect to the player.
Yeah, but then to be honest, that's a bit similar how it used to be. You know, we've interviewed lots of ex-players who have had. I mean, I think Julian Dix's testimonial. They played Atletico Bilbao. I think they did about 25,000. I think Tony Gow's one. We interviewed him. He fucked up the when to organise it, because I think they'd played on the Saturday and this was on the Sunday, so people had already turned up to the game on Saturday, and he's asked them to come back. I think they had about 10,000. So I think the rarity of testimonials now makes it a bit more exclusive. So you know, it's great that Mark pushed his through to have it at the bowling, and that was totally right. That was totally right.
It was needed. It was 100%. That's his home for so many years as a supporter. The young boy growing up round there, that's his home.
Totally.
Having it here, having it at London Stadium, you just don't be wrong. I think we'll still get a big sellout for it. Right, like his final game, it's going to be a very, very sad day.
Yeah, definitely.
But
yeah, I know what you mean about GP. I know what you mean by GP. I know. It's one of those things where I think, you know, it's different now, isn't it? I think, you know, arguably back in the day, he probably would have got a testimonial. Winston probably would have got a testimonial as well back in the day, but it's different now, isn't it?
Not such a thing now, is it?
No,
not as much as it used to be.
No, definitely, man. Right, okay, we'll put GP in. Left back.
Left back is like same as right backs. Really, we've not really had.
No,
we've had one consistent left back for many years, and that's Aaron Cresswell.
Yeah,
being since obviously when he came in 2014, 15, or whenever it was.
Like that,
he's been the left back since when after his ankle injury, and then this last season, everyone was, I wouldn't say slating him, but come to the
They were. Yeah, he was having, you know, he was
having some negative season. So everyone thought that's the end of him. Sadly, he's going to be sold on or whatever. And then this year it's been a revelation playing him as that third centre half.
Yeah, and even at left back when he played back four, he hasn't been too bad. He's
been good. He's just exposed at times with a pacey winger, but as would a lot of fullbacks would be against the Dharma, say comes towards Dharma Traore off the top of your head. But of course he's going to struggle against him because that's a complete mismatch. But compared to last year, his set piece delivery, his assists, the amount of points he's won me on my fantasy team this year. Getting
crosses,
10 assists from left back this year. It's incredible.
We've missed him when he's not been in the team. Really missed him.
When he's been injured, I don't think we've scored. Obviously, have we scored many from set pieces? Have we had many corners or free kicks?
I don't think so.
Off the top of my head, we haven't. We just missed that delivery of a ball, which has been superb.
I totally agree, man. I totally agree. It's great. I love people who have this sort of renaissance. You know, Mark as well. I mean, we'll probably talk about Mark in a bit, but you know, for me, he's just a renaissance man. You know, and Cresswell as well. You know, as you said, he was on the scrap heap last season, and to be Moyes got a tune out of him, and possibly prolonged his career. I'd suggest. You know,
definitely so. Definitely for at least he's going to. Well, I think his deal runs out next year. I think I was reading.
I think so. Yeah,
he's definitely earned himself another 18-month, 2-year deal.
Yeah, 100%. Right, Cress is in. Midfield. Who are we starting with, Luke?
Midfield, as we just spoken about him, it's got to be Marky Noble.
Yeah.
Because I think the name itself doesn't need much explaining why he's there. But like we said, that final game, thank God he's got another year.
Yes.
I think if supporters were here now, I don't think he doesn't play another year.
I agree.
He acknowledges now that it's a young man's game. Be 34. Well, when he retires, will be 35.
Yeah.
It's not his game anymore. But he couldn't have his final game without any supporters there. Even the 10,000 supporters there wouldn't be anywhere near the justice he deserves for what he's done.
No, I think you're right. You're totally right, man. And he's honest enough to say it. Do you know what I mean? He's like, if I didn't think I could play, I wouldn't play. And I totally believe him as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not here to pick up a wage. And I just think realistically as well, I think Europe will be, if we get whatever competition we end up in Europe,
be a big rotation throughout the season.
Yeah. We need him. We need
what he's
players.
done, since Rice has been injured.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of people saying, Noble would stuck with Noble for God knows how long. There's a lot of slander for Noble.
Yeah.
And then I put a tweet out saying, for what he's not as bad as a player ever makes out. Yes, he's not Declan Rice, but when he's played this year, he's played as a number 10. And when he comes on against Chelsea, he plays as a 10, which that's Noble's never been a 10, even when in his younger years.
No.
So when he plays that deeper role, he's played well.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially that Leicester game when obviously they've got it back to 3-2. He's come off. He come off injured. I think before that, obviously diving in front of the shot, busted his arm up. But that's the player he is. He would die for the shirt.
Yeah, totally. And having someone who's your captain, who's a fan as well. He's a one man. Again, it's such an old thing. It's an old school thing. Where all the players.
He's the last of that generation of a one club man.
Yeah, one club man, but a boyhood one club man. Do you know what I mean? There's people who move and end up playing for one club, but being your club and being your, we've had, obviously we interview loads of old players, they talk about obviously Bobby Moores and Jeff Hurst, and they were like, lived around the corner and get a bus into the thing. But that's Mark Noble. He's always been West Ham, but it's good that
it was in the match day program or one of Sky after he played his debut. Yeah, Southend. He walked home with his now wife. That's where it used to be. That area is. I was saying just now, is his home.
Yeah, it's true.
Saying that, but
it's different. Yeah, I mean, in terms of, we had from Brian Deere the other day, old Stag, and obviously his 60s and stuff, and he would have a bicycle. He'd get on the bicycle back home from the stadium. You know what I mean? And it's like that's what football used to be. And you're right. He's the last of a dying breed, and you think. Well, I guess no one else. He's been, almost as long. It's the same length of time as Messi has been at Barcelona, isn't it, or something like that? So I think Messi will slightly outlast him if he signs a new contract, unfortunately. But that's not a bad person to have just missed out to. But and it's just great. And and it's like I remember I was so pissed off I didn't record it, but when we were playing Chelsea last year, we won 3-2.
Yeah.
And Yarma scored the last minute when he actually did something. Mark wasn't in the squad, and I was watching the game because at the moment they're all in one of the boxes, aren't they now?
Yeah.
Where they used to be. They used to be where the disabled seats were.
There's a little bench, and you've got the dugout, and you've got the seats above behind that for the injured players.
Yeah. So after the first one, where the disabled seats were, still are, but that's where they used to put the auxiliary squad because they were all. Now it's taken over by journalists, but they put them in the box now. But so Mark was literally in my eye line, and so I was literally watching him the whole game, and he was like kicking like we were watching a game. You know what I mean? Like a fan. And I know he says, I know he knows he's a fan, but actually seeing it physically, I'm like, this guy really does love West Ham as a fan, not just as the captain, but as a fan. And, but I think it's great that he's given us this. He's told us that next season's the last season. So,
it's not that uncertainty of.
No, he comes to terms with it.
Yeah. It's when it got broke into our West Ham player. We put in our group chat, and it was heartbreaking because I thought that's the last bit of the bowling left because obviously Winston Reid's there no more. We scored the last goal. But that's the last bit of proper old school West Ham before the stadium move.
Yeah.
And then once that's gone, that's the last.
It's Aaron Cresswell then.
Yeah, well, then it's Aaron Cresswell. And then after that, but
Antonio.
obviously, yeah, it's not the same as Noble, is it? Not the same as
I know what
Noble.
you mean. No, it's not.
Yeah,
it ain't the same. I know what you mean. Yeah.
It'd
All right,
be,
Nobes is in.
Yeah, Noble's in, and then alongside him would be Declan Rice. I think
Declan Rice.
Because the not being here long, not played long, but the boy is one hell of a football player.
Yeah.
Who is going to go so far.
Yeah.
So
it's scary. I think it's scary how good he is.
For how mature for his age is, and seeing reports of United not comparing him to Nemanja Matic, saying he's not a different player, not that much of a different player to him.
Idiots.
And then just like if that's what they think, that's the result for us.
Fair play.
I don't mind them thinking that.
No, keep on thinking about that, Man City. Keep on thinking about that.
But yeah, the player is I think, especially back in the last year, this year, his ability on the ball now to be a driving force with the ball.
Yes.
With knowing Souček can do the donkey work next to him.
Yeah.
I think the one with we spoke about when we played Leicester, when he's got the ball in the halfway, like just powerhouse his way in a straight line, and hit the bar. But he's just such a dynamic player. And then how much we've missed him. Out of everyone we've had injured this year, the one person you'd say we can't have injured would be Declan. Along with
it was either him or the other one, weren't it? It was either him or Souček.
We knew it would happen at some point.
We knew. But it's one of those things as well. I think at the moment I feel sorry for Souček. At the moment, without Declan Rice there, it's almost like he's half the player. Honestly, because
he's not got that advantage.
That reassurance
Declan Rice
as well.
Behind him.
Yeah, totally. He's doing that job.
Flying into the box.
Yeah. You can see he's hanging back. He's hanging back, and so it's really frustrating. You can see he's really frustrated. He doesn't really know what to do. He's so used to playing with Declan Rice, and the boys mustard, and that's what I like about Declan. He's got a bit of that old school footballer about him. He's really open and friendly, and he jumped on Hammer's chat the other day, didn't he? After the Burnley game, and he does things like that, and he's just funny, and he's just like open, and I'd love him to hang about for a few more for another decade. Would be nice, but we'll see.
Yeah, but if that's what obviously getting Europe this year.
Yeah,
to keep players like Declan Rice, that's what you've got. You've got to have European football. You have to be competing at the right end, going far in competitions. It's a step in the right direction. I think if we weren't doing so good this year, it wouldn't have surprised me seeing Declan Rice elsewhere next year.
No, especially after the Euros as well.
Now, touching all sorts of wood, we should have some sort of Europe next season.
Yeah, I totally agree.
To keep him.
No, I agree. There's progression as well, and he's not stupid. He's not stupid. He's not silly. You know what I mean? He knows. He's his best mates with Mason Mount. Mason Mount's been in and out of the Chelsea team. If he went to City, he'd be in and out. Although he shouldn't be, he'd be a first teamer, but he'll be in and out. He'll be on a squad rotation for Man City, probably for Man United as well. I always see it's great that Mark said I'm leaving after the next season, my last season. If we have a good season next season, Mark hands the keys over to Declan. And that's why I want to keep the turrets so he could have like a ceremonial key to the car, literally a key to the castle. You can hand it over, and it'd be Declan's club. You know what I mean? He'll be like the poster boy. He'll be the main man. He'll be Mr. West Ham. And he's so savvy when it comes to social media. He knows when Mark played, at a 6, West Ham fans are putting down for a 7 because it's Mark Noble. It's always that little bit extra. He wouldn't get that anywhere else, Declan Rice. No way.
There'd be a lot. Put one bad game, everyone's on his back. Whereas now, because occasionally you do see some bad. Every player has a bad.
Yeah.
Whereas when it happens with Rice, it's what he's done for us anyway. A bad game for him is still a very good game in West Ham's terms.
But also with Declan Rice as well, he has a bad game, and like everyone goes, "Oh, his head's turned. He's leaving." No, he's just had a bad game. He's literally just had a bad game. You know, it's just like it's not his head's turned. Like I said, everyone's allowed a bad game, but Declan Rice having a bad game means the world's coming to an end. Do you know what I mean? Just shows how consistent he is. That him playing a 7, a 6 out of 10 is, you know, the world crashing in ahead of us. You know, no, it's not. He's just had a bad game. He's played 3 games for England or whatever and come back. But no, I think he's great, and it's scary how good he can be. He's scary. He's played 100. He's played like 140 odd games for us already. He's 21, 22. You know what I mean? He could be playing some serious numbers.
He could get
serious, like proper up there with Billy and Bobby. He could be, and Mark as well. Definitely surpass Mark if he stayed here. Right, okay. Nobes Rice. Who's next?
And then the next one, I think, would be a big controversial one in my West Ham group chat. But I think growing up as well alongside Noble was Scott Parker. And I think it's a controversial one. Obviously, going
isn't. I don't think it is. You know,
but at the time, probably was England's best number 8, number 4 centre midfield player. And if we didn't have him in 2009, 2010 season, we'd be down that season. If we didn't have him in 2010, 2011, we'd be relegated by Christmas. Definitely. Because he was probably the only player who, along with Nobes, and I've selected a few others, who actually was bothered about where we were. Yeah. And to win won Football Writers Player of the Year for a relegated team. It must be one of the first ever to do something of that feat. Yeah. The thing Parker is controversial for going to Spurs, but the way he moved about it in somewhat. He didn't get relegated and refused to play in the Championship.
Did it the right way.
He played 1 or 2. Obviously scored away at Watford, didn't he? In his last game against Leeds. And then gone and dead one day.
And I think also, if anyone who's anti Scott Parker, it's like when you say, "Oh, what does West Ham fans need to do? What West Ham player needs to do? I need to give 100%. Play for the shirt. Play for the shirt." I'd sometimes see Scott Parker literally crawling, hobbling into the player car park after a game. He would give so much energy to the team, and he wasn't even the captain. You know what I mean? It's like they always used to call him captain in the paper, and it was always Captain Scott Parker. He wasn't the captain. It was that Matthew Upson,
the one like when we played West Brom was 3-0 down.
Yeah, we had Colton on talking about the other day.
You hear the stories you could see. Obviously, you saw a video. I think it was on Twitter the other day about Scott Parker's pre-match talk with the Fulham side when they go playing away at Liverpool. You can imagine it's something similar along the lines like that of that leadership qualities he had.
He was brilliant. He was just brilliant, and I just thought he was. And obviously we recorded some Friday on Monday, and obviously Fulham have been relegated today.
They are down now. That's a shame.
They are down, unfortunately, which is a shame because
it's a good away day. They play good football as well.
They do. They had a go. Do you know what I mean? They actually had a go. Some teams don't have a go, but they had a go, and it's a shame. Hopefully, you never know. One day, who knows? Who knows? Funny old game, football, isn't it? Funny old game. And,
always comes back round.
Yeah, I love the fact, as you said, that sort of that game where that Fulham that team talk was just amazing. Yeah, that team talk we gave to players. Fuck it, I'd have run for a brick wall for Scott Parker for saying that.
You would. You can see that with the Fulham side as well. Obviously, they play good football. Obviously, they've not got
that. They gave us good games.
They gave us good games. They've not got that clinical centre forward.
No, who will score. That's what keeps the teams up.
Who would score 10 plus goals a season? If you have one of them, you should be fine because that's your 10 goals you need to aim for.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the teams that come up. Wolves, they had Jimenez. Leeds have got Bamford. You're right. It's like when Villa came up. Eventually they got Ollie Watkins and stuff. So it's having that sort of 10, 15.
Knowing someone.
Yeah. He's going to convert.
He's going to convert. Where you look at that from the side, we don't really look at him and go, he's definitely scoring in the next 2 or 3 games because you don't know who's going to score for him.
Yeah. No, you're totally right, man. Totally right. Right, okay, Scotty Parker's in. Next one.
So going on to the right hand side of the midfield would be it's a tough one, but to compensate my centre forward to come in, I'd have my right winger will be Mikel Antonio.
Mikel Antonio.
Yeah.
Nice. Where is he? Where is Antonio? There he is. There is Mikel Antonio. What a lovely man.
Yeah, Antonio. Yeah, brilliant. His story is like the Jamie Vardy-esque story of coming from non-league and rags to riches, and just absolutely, and probably will become our highest Premier League goal scorer at some point.
Hopefully this season.
Two or three goals off, isn't he? So
two off. Yeah.
So
He's at 40.
45, and he goes to 47.
47. Yeah. Amazing.
Brilliant.
I'm totally with you in terms of the Jamie Vardy thing. I think when there's something special about players who have come through the ranks. Not turned up at the Etihad at 12 and have just stayed there. He's turned up at Hackney Marshes and played on some shit pitches, and I think that's why. And I think that's same with like Jamie Vardy. He's just come through the ranks, and fair play to him. Fair play to him.
The work ethic.
Totally. Oh.
Okay.
Yep. Hello.
It's funny though, didn't it?
The work ethic. Brilliant. The work ethic.
Yeah. I remember Chelsea away when it considered that penalty Chelsea away, and then Bilic just pulled him off 2-3 minutes later. You could see the absolute heartbreak in him after he's done it, and then Bilic still played him right back because obviously you could tell he didn't want to play left, but he would play left for the club because they needed him there.
Yeah, that's special.
That old saying: if you give 100% effort for the badge for the shirt, that gets you far.
Yeah, it's so true.
He's definitely one of them players.
And also, when you buy players and they don't play in you put them in the wrong position and they don't play very well. I mean, he would give. He said he'd give 100% wherever. If you put him in goal, he'd have a go. You know what I mean? It's like and that just shows a level of commitment, and that's why I think he's great, and he's got a bit about him. And he's got banter, and I just think he's great around the dressing room, and I just think he's brilliant. I just think he's fun, and when he's on it, there's no one better. Honestly, there's no one like him in the Premier League.
That Wolves game before he got
that Wolves 30 minutes.
He was unbelievably good. How good he was then.
It was like a toy, a wind-up toy. Like you wind up really tight.
You got a half-hour wind out of him, and then after that, he just collapsed and gone.
What half hour? We all talk about half hour. Such a West Ham thing. Oh, I remember that 1.5 hour against. It was amazing. It's so true, though.
People will go, that half hour against Wolves, and everyone will know what you're on about.
Yeah, it's all about. You know exactly what we're talking about. It's amazing, isn't it? It's so funny. I love the fact. All that, you talk about one incident. Oh, yeah, that one thing. Yeah. No, when he's got the bit between his teeth, he's unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable. All right, McCann in.
So
who's next?
We'll go onto the left-hand side of the field, or to 3 for playing up front.
Yeah.
And another one, there's only one way you can go there, as much as we all hate him, but that's Dimitri Payet, because you didn't have to look for the player, then you knew exactly who was going to come up.
It's because it's funny. He's like one of the most picked, like across everyone. He's like one of the most picked players, and the first thing people say is, "Oh, everyone's going to hate me. Everyone's going to hate me." But it's not, because he's a fucking good player. Do you know what I mean? He's like, as a player.
Yeah, it's the way he went out was obviously a massive shame, because he could have really wrote himself into West Ham history. And then that's down to him. He didn't want it no more.
Yeah,
off he went. But that one season, the bowling made that last season so spectacular, so magical.
Oh, amazing! It wouldn't have been the season without him. We know that season.
No chance. Yeah, it would have been just another mid-table season. Anything normal. Yeah. He gave us that real hope of, even that year, we probably should have got Champions League football. Thinking back,
injuries again.
Injuries
to him though. That's
that 1 month it was out. We had 2 0-0 draws, Everton and Stoke.
Yeah,
and then I can't remember the other 2 results, but they weren't wins. And then comes back for the Liverpool game. He's on the bench. We beat Liverpool 2-0, but the fact he's on the bench gives that whole euphoria around the squad, knowing when times are tough, he comes on and creates that one tiny bit of magic.
Yeah.
I like that cup game against Liverpool was he was so quiet the whole game, didn't do anything, and then 120th minute gets a free kick so deep and whips in the most perfect ball onto Bonner's head.
It was just amazing, wasn't it? It was just, he was back to, you didn't really see Di Canio play. He was back to that sort of maverick. We haven't got anyone like that. Well, maybe Ben Rama eventually, maybe, but he's just that maverick player who just would just make.
When he's on the ball, you're off your seat. You're
ready. You're ready for it.
Something magic was about to happen.
Yeah,
like United away the FA Cup quarter final, free kick from 30 yards, which at the time against probably arguably the best keeper in the world at the time, 30 yards of free kick. You think he had no right going for it, and he's not just gone for it. It's absolutely free kick of dreams off the post. But no other player would have been able to do it.
No, you're totally right, man. You're totally right. But it was like that, wasn't it? Anywhere you got 25 yards, 30 yards, free kick, it was like a penalty. It's like Mark Noble stepping up to take a penalty. You knew he was going to get hit, he was going to hit the target at least.
Yeah.
And again, such an unusual thing to do. And he left in a funny way, but he's one of those types of players. You get. It's like everyone talks about Di Canio in such great estate. We only got Di Canio because he pushed over fucking referee. Do you know what I mean? It's like we never would have got him.
As well, you think about the Payet, obviously, he might have he would promise things which didn't come true. And if we had a similar season to what we had before that, maybe he might not have gone. Who knows? Who knows? It's ifs and buts.
At the end of the day, Marseille welcomed him back with open arms, and he basically did to Marseille what he did to us. Because he left Marseille, he basically packed his bags and came to West Ham, and they did the same thing. They welcomed him with open arms, so they know how much of a good player he was. So, you sort of accept the baggage with those types of players, don't you? It's like Arnie. It's like Arnie was like a bastard, but he was our bastard. Do you know what I mean? And
you hate to play against them.
Yeah,
exactly. You'd hate to play against.
Oh,
stinking attitude.
He was the one player. He was one player on your, all your mates had on their fantasy football league team, and everyone wanted him in their team. That's the first player for a long time I can remember people going, "Oh, I'd love Payet." They might be Tottenham fans or Chelsea fans. They all wanted Payet, and he was our player. I was so proud. It was when it like the Euros when he sort of smashed it he's our player.
Like that first game, the opening ceremony, he's got last minute on his left foot and absolutely rocketed it into the corner. He's celebrating like a goal for West Ham, thinking. Videos of Bilic getting on the tables, praising for him.
That's what I liked. It was the right. It just it doesn't usually happen where things pan out well for us.
But he was the right manager. Right manager, the right player,
right
at
season,
right specific time.
And that's why it'd always be part and parcel of the fabric. Right. Okay. So Antonio got Payet. We've got one more spot, if my maths are correct.
Yeah. So like I said, pushing Antonio out wide to accommodate one striker. So throughout the years, I think it's common knowledge that our striking department has been very shoddy, very shoddy. But if this one player never got injured for England's national duty, he would have been our number 9 for years and years, and that would be Dean Ashton.
Yeah, it would be Dino. Yeah, I totally agree, man.
And that one injury ruined his whole career. He would have gone. He wouldn't have been at us for too long. We say that much.
He wouldn't have been.
He would have gone to United. He would have gone to Liverpool and United, broke all sorts of records.
Totally, he would have been Rooney's partner for England, Rooney's partner for Man United,
easily,
and he would have been, as you said, number 9 for England. I mean, it was ironically, Rooney was always struggling for a partner for England, wasn't he? He never really got that partner, and he would have been perfect for him.
Rooney liked to sit deeper and spray the ball, and actually would be that focal 9 point that just consistently there and in front of the goal. How lethal he was.
Oh,
it's like I'm not saying. Yeah, but no way I can say it. The way Kane plays his football.
Do you know?
In front of goal, if you give him a sniff in front of goal, you know the keeper's picking it out the back of the net.
Yeah, Harry Kane wishes he was Dean Ashton. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, Harry Kane, he's a good player, good forward. He's no Dean Ashton. I'm not being funny, right? You wouldn't see Harry Kane doing a bicycle kick, would you? You wouldn't see Harry Kane beating a player with a little bit of skill. You know, he's a good striker. He's a good striker, but he's no Dean Ashton. It's no Dean Ashton. But I know what you mean.
The goals did score was special as well. Like you think of City away in the FA Cup, just being a poacher in around the box for the cup final, the 2 overhead kicks, the testimonial, and the overhead kick against Edwin van der Sar and United's untouchable team. And literally all 4 corners of Old Trafford standing there applauding how good of a goal it was.
Great player.
When do you see things like that ever happen?
Very, very, very rarely. Once in a blue moon, isn't it? That the away supporters will be, or the home supporters for that when you're playing away would be clapping. Yeah, and no, it was just brilliant. It's just a shame, as you said, he was one of those great what ifs, you know. And particularly when we bought him, and we had Craig Bellamy as well, and them two would have been our modern day Cotty McAvenny easily.
100%,
easily, man.
100%.
Easily, man. But oh well. On that sour note. Where's the team? Where's the team? There's a team. Look, where is it? I'll go press the button first. Look at that team. Whoa! There's no pissing about with Europa Conference with that team, my friend.
You won't win any titles, but my God, you'd get 100% effort from 10 of the players and a bit of magic from that one other one.
Oh, you'd like that, and a striker. God, striker.
Yeah.
And Antonio in his proper position as well. That's what I like.
A lot of mayhem, chaos.
It'd be a lot of fun. It'll be first the match of the day, but not necessarily for the right reasons. You know what I mean? That's the fact. Oh, brilliant, Luke, man, it's been great. We've an hour and 15 minutes has literally flown by.
It's flown by, 100%. You too, mate.
Appreciate your time, man. So thank you so much.
That's what I appreciate it too, if you get me on here.
No, we got there eventually, man. And obviously, thank you to. Go on, you can, man.
But it's been a nightmare trying to arrange times and.
Well, it is when you don't put my bloody mobile in, and say it gets to the bottom of the WhatsApp. I'm joking.
And as well,
anyway,
it's just fact of even where in a world where there's not much to do, there's still things you still need to do.
Still bits to do.
It's a weird world.
It is a weird world, but hopefully we'll start getting better, man. And obviously, thank you to everyone for watching or listening. Whatever you do, give it a like, give it a share, give us a subscribe. And from myself and from Luke, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Get those jabs when you get your appointments. Luke's far too young to get his jab yet. Far too young. But anyway, not like fat bastards like me. I'm done. I'm 2 and done. I'm out. I'm going to be on the beach. You're not going to be can't go nowhere.
Luckily, I've had my first one. Luckily.
Oh, have you?
My girlfriend's mum works in the clinic, so luckily
I told me,
I was able to jump one in and be halfway to being able to go to Madrid away next season.
Yeah, Barcelona away, we'll be there. Anyway, take care, stay safe. Come on, you Irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Much love. Bye.